Hello and welcome back to another Football Commentaries live stream. Hollywood has officially stepped foot into the Championship. After back-to-back promotions, Wrexham are in the second tier of English football and have been handed a tricky first quest as they travel down south to take on Southampton at St Mary's for this lunchtime kick-off. The Saints return to the Championship once more after a one-season stay in the Premier League, and they achieved the second worst points tally in the history of the Premier League with just 12 altogether after 30 defeats in the top flight. But they seem ready for another go at winning promotion from this division. They have drafted in gaffer Will Still from Lens in France as the Belgian-born coach is giving England a first go as a head coach. For the Red Dragons, they return to this division for the first time since 1982, 43 years waiting for this day after as fans and the club have been through the entire footballing roller coaster. Within their three recent promotions, they have won just one league title, and that was the National League back in 2023 after tallying up 111 points. Phil Parkinson is still at the wheel but has just won 26 of his 141 championship games as a manager. This will be meeting number 8 between the two teams, and it is the Saints with the advantage on 4 wins and Wrexham have 3. There has still yet to be a draw in this fixture. So can Southampton crush the Wrexham hopes of an opening day win, or can Wrexham continue the fairy tale and win here for the first time since 1974? There isn't much history within this fixture. They have not quite been in the same leagues in recent times, but Wrexham have just been on this astronomical rise up into the second division, and for Southampton they've been a little bit yo in terms of in the Premier League and then back down. Of course, last season is just a complete season to forget. Finishing bottom, 12 points, just 2 wins, 6 draws, and 30 defeats. It's just a total reset needed, and that has been happening over the summer in terms of bringing in a new manager in Will Still. But in terms of transfers, there's not really been much movement for the home side today. They've brought in 2 new players. One of them does start, and that is centre-back Joshua Kwashi, who they brought in for £3.5 million from Hoffenheim, and they also brought in a striker, 6'4" American international from Cologne, and that is Damien Downs, who is on the bench. So they've brought in a couple of players and they've let go of 9 players altogether, the likes of Sulemana going to Atalanta for £18 million, Bednarek leaving for £6.5 million, also having a couple more players leave here and there. But you do feel like maybe they've got to bring in a couple more players before the end of the window. But then again, a couple more might leave on the bench today. They've got Mateus Fernandes, who they brought in last season from Sporting for £15 million. They have set a £50 million price tag on him, potentially Southampton doing that just to kind of scare away any potential buyers. But then also out of the squad today is Tyler Diblin, who has been heavily linked with a move to Everton back in the Premier League. So we'll have to see how that works out. Of course, there's still a big chunk of the window left, at least another 3 weeks where players can come and go. And for Wrexham, they've done a lot of their buying already this summer transfer window. I can't see loads more players coming in. We've got 6 of the new signings, starting today. The likes of Danny Ward in goal, Connor Cody, Liberato, Kakurchi, the wing back, Lewis O'Brien, Kiefer Moore, Josh Windass. Really strong signings. A lot of them have a little bit on the older side, the likes of Cody, who's 32, Kiefer Moore turning 33 yesterday, and Josh Windass at 31. He turns 32 in January. But I do think a team like Wrexham do need that championship experience. The club haven't been in this division for a very long time. 43 years since the last time they were in the championship, and when they were in the championship, they finished 21st in the league. They were 2 points off safety, and Wrexham have never played in the top flight of English football. That is, of course, the aim under their owners of Ryan Reynolds and Rob McElhenney. And when they first took over, one of their first interviews they expressed their desire to make it to the Premier League. And I don't think anyone to do with football, and especially to do with Wrexham, would have thought that would have been so possible so soon. Of course, they've kind of got to see how they'll fare in this division. But if they have a pretty decent first championship season where they obviously they'll be aiming for playoffs and promotion, but maybe if they can just consolidate themselves, look at mid-table, sort of pushing playoffs, then they can kind of see that this dream is definitely achievable with maybe a couple more signings. But we'll have to wait and see. Kick-off is just around 4 minutes away. Both sets of players are in the tunnel. Southampton will be led out by captain Jack Stevens, who's now been at the club for over 14 years. And for Wrexham, their captain for today is Matty James, who only joined in October of last year as a free agent, and this will be his 250th championship appearance. He's took the armband today off James McLean, who is on the bench today, the 36-year-old usual Wrexham captain, as here are both sets of players entering the pitch here at St Mary's, a big banner across the stand to the right-hand side for Southampton, as of course for Wrexham this will be quite the monumental feeling of being back in the Championship, 3 promotions in a row, and they've got a very difficult first task as they take on Will Still's new-looking Southampton side. There's Phil Parkinson, who of course still remains in charge of Wrexham, will be looking to get this club right to the very top of the English pyramid. We'll go through both sets of starting 11s now. We'll start with the home side of Southampton, who lost Aaron Ramsdale recently to Newcastle on loan, so it'll be Gavin Bazunu in goal, who they brought in 3 years ago from Manchester City. It's going to be a back three of 3 centre-halves of Ronnie Edwards, Jack Stevens and new signing Joshua Kwashi, with 2 wing-backs. On the right-hand side will be Sugawara, and on the left will be Brazilian Wellington, who they brought in on a free in January from Sao Paulo. 2 central midfielders of Shea Charles, who spent last season on loan at Sheffield Wednesday, and alongside him will be Flynn Downs, who came through the academy of Ipswich and is a former England under-20s international. On the right-hand side will be Ryan Fraser, who only played 10 times in all the last season, 8 Premier League appearances, with no goals, and was actually sent off in a home fixture against Leicester in mid-October. On the left is 18-year-old academy graduate Jay Robinson. He signed his first professional contract last year, and he did score in their last pre-season game at home to Brighton in a 2-2 draw. And leading the line up front, of course, will be Adam Armstrong. Was able to bag the 2 Premier League goals last season against both Merseyside opponents in Everton and Liverpool before a loan spell at West Brom. But the last time he was in this division with Southampton, he scored 24 goals in the Championship, which included 3 in 3 during the playoffs. So that is Southampton starting 11 for Wrexham. They have gone with Danny Ward in goal, who they've brought in on a free from Leicester. He has got the nod ahead of Arthur Okonkwo, who has been the goalkeeper for the last couple of seasons for Wrexham. A back 5 of Ryan Barnett on the right-hand side of the wing-backs. On the left is their new signing, the New Zealand international Liberato Kikuchi, with 3 centre-backs. 2 kind of younger centre-backs next to Connor Cody, who's in the middle, and to his right will Max Cleworth, and on the left will be Lewis Brunt. 3 central midfielders of George Dobson, who's on appearance number 49 today for Wrexham. Alongside him is captain Matty James, and another new signing, the club record signing of Lewis O'Brien, who they brought in for £5 million from Nottingham Forest. And then 2 up front is the taller of the 2 up front. It's Kiefer Moore, 6'5" Welsh international. He was brought in for £2 million from Sheffield United. It was his 33rd birthday yesterday, and he'll play alongside Josh Windass, who they got on a free from Sheffield Wednesday. He scored 13 Championship goals last season, 2 in the last 3, and he also scored 5 in 5 games in a row between the middle of December and the start of the new year. As we are all set for kick-off here at St Mary's. It's an 8-hour round trip on the roads for Wrexham, having to get the early get-up and the early coaches this morning for this half-12 kick-off. As the Championship is back, it returned last night with Birmingham drawing 1-1 to Ipswich late on. Dramatic scenes there at St Andrews, but here our attention draws to Southampton and Wrexham, who will both be eyeing up promotion. For Wrexham, it'll be a bit of an unknown task and an unknown journey for them. They could keep up their momentum and go for that top of the table, or they could struggle. We'll have to wait and see. It will be Wrexham to kick us off, kicking right to left. Southampton left to right. Wrexham begin with a ball down the right-hand side, which deflects out for a throw-in on the halfway line on that far side. And Wrexham's journey in the Championship is underway. It'll be a packed-out away end for sure. Again, having to get the early get-up for this early kick-off against Southampton. Bit of a journey for them as they've won it back here. Southampton on the left-hand side with Robinson. Runs into Cleworth, who can bully him off the ball and keep it now with Barnett. Tackled himself by Wellington for Southampton, and it's Shea Charles in the middle for them. Gets it forward and in between the lines for Ryan Fraser. Fantastic pass, and he can run at Conor Cody. Into the box he goes, onto the right foot. He bends it to the far corner, and just wide it goes. It's a warning sign for Wrexham early on. It's a really good, positive pass there from Shea Charles to find Ryan Fraser in that little pocket of space in between the Wrexham defensive midfield. And as he just entered the box, he tried to bend it to the far corner, and it wasn't far away from Ryan Fraser. Early warning sign for Wrexham, who are going to understand rather quickly that there can't be any lapses of concentration or they will be punished in this division. As it will be Danny Ward to take the goal kick for Wrexham, the 32-year-old. 31 Premier League appearances in his career. The Ronnie Edwards heads away the goal kick, always far as the Wrexham defence, as the time is now underway and it's cleared up, and only as far as Southampton's back line. It's with Wellington into their new signing, number 17, Joshua Kwashi. Spent last season on 2 loan spells in Germany. Just his 33rd professional appearance in his career for the 21-year-old. As Flynn Downs keeps it away from Kikuchi. It's now Ryan Fraser on the halfway line on this near side. Goes back and restarts for Southampton with number 12, Ronnie Edwards, who spent last season on loan at QPR, well, the second half of the season anyway. Scored 2 goals in the Championship against Derby and Oxford. Season before that at Peterborough, he lost in the playoff semi-finals to Oxford. Seems like a really promising central defender for England. Part of that under-21s Euro squad that won the competition in the summer. Still moving it around here very quickly and very calmly here, Southampton. It's on the near side with wing-back Sugawara, who's running at Kikuchi. The New Zealand international for Wrexham tries to work the cross. It goes into the near post, comes off Cody. Needs to be cleared here for Wrexham. Up it goes to O'Brien, who can't quite get it under control. Kicked out of play, though, by Downs. Throwing for the away side. On this near side, midway side, their own half, as Kiefer Moore just getting the team to relax. It's been a pretty quick start for Southampton. Of course, they've got their new head coach of Will still. Took charge of 93 League One games. 2 clubs, started at Reims and then moved on to Lens, where he just spent a season with them. Last time out, finishing 8th in the division, so no Europe for Lens, as they did finish pretty poorly last season under Will still. That's Wrexham winning in a dangerous position. Kiefer Moore out to the right wing here to Josh Windass in the area. The angle's tight, tries to get it across. It's blocked off by Captain Stevens. That's going to be a throw in here for Wrexham on the far side. Taken quickly here by Barnett, who gets the ball returned to him by Dobson. In it goes. Good ball aiming for Kiefer Moore, who's being held. Nothing given by the referee, and Southampton play it to the edge of the area to Shea Charles, who's going to be tackled from behind by O'Brien, who believed he'd got the ball. Referee says no, and that'll be a free kick for Southampton. He seems pretty sure of his decision there, James Bell, today's referee. As we just get a replay on that cross, it's a teasing one in from Barnett, an outswinger in towards Kiefer Moore, and to me it looked like both him and Edwards had a good hold of each other, so it would have been pretty harsh to give that decision either way. Yeah, for me, nothing in that. Kind of both having a grapple with each other. And just over 4 minutes in at St Mary's, it's still Southampton 0, Wrexham 0. On the halfway line, it is Ronnie Edwards for Southampton. Find Ryan Fraser, who's probably looked the liveliest player on the pitch so far in the opening exchanges of the game. It's Sugawara lifting it down the right-hand side for Fraser. It will be dealt with there by Lewis Brunt for Wrexham. Up towards Kiefer Moore, who can't quite touch it down for Windass, but the loose ball drops to James. It's now Lewis O'Brien on the halfway line to the near side to Kikuchi. Looks for Moore and finds him. Holds it up and starts again. He is caught. Kiefer Moore, and the referee will give the free kick just on the halfway line. It's been a bit of an aggressive start for both so far. Lewis O'Brien with a big challenge just moments before, then Flynn Downs here for Southampton. 5 minutes in, still goalless at St Mary's, just the one chance, and that came to Southampton, a Ryan Fraser shot, just bending around and wide of the post. As it's Stevens going across here to Sugawara, more of a full-back position here for the Saints, and he'll bring it forward, and he'll play a pass forward, tries the 1-2 with Fraser, cut out there for Wrexham by Brunt. It's now O'Brien into the middle here to Kiefer Moore, who is shoved to the ground by Flynn Downs. That's the second challenge on the Welsh striker. And it's going to be a free kick for Wrexham once more. And that's what Kiefer Moore can bring to this side. 6'5", so he's got a real big build on him, so it's hard for defenders to kind of get the ball off him, can't get around him, and he wins good free kicks, which then allows him to get in the box for those crosses into the box. Looks like Wrexham might go short here, though. It's just about 10 yards in front of the halfway line. Lewis O'Brien's the one stood over it with his left foot. As he plays it out wide to the left here to Windass, who's peeled to the wide area. And then it's Cody looking for the run of O'Brien in the final third, cleared by Fraser. Headed down by Cody to Dobson. We will work it out to the right-hand side here to Barnett. Facing towards his own goal, restarting on the halfway line with Dobson, the central midfielder, clipping it into the middle for Kiefer Moore, nods it down for Windass, who can keep it away from Kwashi, the Southampton centre-half, and it's now Barnett in the right wing position in the final third. He's got Kiefer Moore in the box to aim for. He'll go for the cross, which deflects up and out of play, and it's a Wrexham corner. Quickly grown into the game here, Wrexham, because Southampton started very quickly in the opening 2 minutes, and then for the next 5 minutes or so, it's been Wrexham more so kind of getting their feet on the ball and trying to knock it around, get some confidence and momentum in this game. The usual suspects that you'd imagine are in the box here for Wrexham. O'Brien goes short. Then it's to the edge of the area here to Windass on the right foot. Cross goes in and it's over the bar. Couple of yards out. Connor Cody on his Wrexham debut. Probably should have and could have gave them a 1-0 lead. He went short and then out to the edge of the box to Windass. Cody well onside. Oh, and the volley's gone over. And he's got to at least get it on target. Just more hits the shin than his foot there. The former Leicester centre-back. 7.5 minutes in, Wrexham have had the biggest chance for sure. Cody sending it over as Bazunu goes long for Southampton. Headed away by Brunt for Wrexham. Volleyed up by Kakurchi. On the halfway line is Dobson. Can't quite head it to Windass, but the interception from Edwards drops to James. And it's now out to the right centre-back of Max Cleworth for Wrexham, as they just slow the game down just inside the Southampton half. Dobson to Barnett. Takes on Wellington. Great bit of skill from Barnett into the final third. He's outside the area, but he can cross it into it. And it's volleyed away by Kwashi. And now maybe Southampton can get on the break. Shea Charles around the corner for Armstrong. Touches it there. And then forward towards Shea Charles. Can't quite find him there, Robinson. And it's dealt with by Lewis Brunt. And it's with Danny Ward in between the sticks for Wrexham. Wrexham born, the goalkeeper. Second spell at the club. Was here for 5 years between 2007 to 2012. Before moving on and playing for the likes of Liverpool and Leicester as well. As it's Robinson on the left side of the box. Tries to get onto his right foot. Tackled though by Cleworth. All as far as Fraser. Towards the corner flag. He's 1-on-1 here with Barnett. Goes on the outside. Dinks across into the far post. Header won by Kakurchi for Wrexham. All as far as Edwards on the edge of the area. Facing up between O'Brien. Finds Downs to his left. Then back into Edwards. Goes across to Kwashi. It's now Wellington. The Brazilian defender. Looking for a pass forward. But returns it to the halfway line to Kwashi. Former Schalke centre-half. 6'5" giant. It's now Downs. Back to the halfway line again. To Stevens. And then across to Kwashi. Lays it off for Wellington. Bit more control now for Southampton after a bit of Wrexham possession. As it's one back there. As Robinson wasn't quite strong enough on the ball. Cleworth again winning the ball for Wrexham. Finished second last season in League One. Wrexham couldn't quite win the title. Birmingham were just a little bit too strong for them. Finished on 92 points. 27 victories. Were undefeated in their last 10 games, which helped them to that automatic spot. There's a ball forward towards Armstrong. He's going to have to battle with Connor Cody, who nods it down, but straight into the path of Downs. Just has to hold it up here. The Southampton number 4, he has got options both sides, as it's Kakurchi coming inside to try and get the tackle on Downs. He puts the tackle in on him, but he still drops the Downs. He works it back to Charles, and Fraser crosses to the far post. It's a teasing one. The header goes across. And wide of the goal by Robinson, and it's a Wrexham goal kick. Both teams showing very good signs of being able to score in this game. Both teams looking confident and assured in possession. Got the ball out to Ryan Fraser on the right wing, who we know can find a good delivery. Ryan Fraser's best season, 4 assists, was in the Premier League in the 2018-2019 season. Brought in 14 assists for then Bournemouth, who he was at for 7 years. Danny Ward takes the goal kick for Wrexham. It's a long one out towards the left-hand side towards Kiefer Moore over his head. Windass will chase it. Cleared down the line by Sugawara for Southampton up towards halfway, where Matty James wins the first contact. But doesn't quite win the second. It looks like he kicks Armstrong in the head. Play continues though as he's back to his feet, and it's Shea Charles trying to find the run of Wellington to his left. Finds him, shoots towards goal, and he rattles the side netting. Never quite looked like he was comfortable with that shot there. Wellington, the number 34 for Southampton. It was well kept alive by Armstrong, putting his head where it can hurt. And found Robinson, who then found Charles, and then one more pass into Wellington, about 8 yards out on the angle on the left side of the box. There was no one to put it across to, so he had to go for the strike. And it hit the side netting, well covered by Ward, if it had gone on target anyway. Still remains goalless here at St Mary's, 0-0 between Southampton and Wrexham. As it's a long ball and it's found Windass. The defenders are backing off, edge of the area. He's going to fancy the shot towards goal, and he hits the top of the crossbar. Can't give Windass that space on the edge of the area. Like I said, the defenders just kept backing off. And as he was just kind of on the left side of the pitch, he kind of cut onto his stronger right foot and had that shot, which hits the top of the crossbar. There's a goal kick. Southampton have gone short, and it's now with Bazunu who will bring it forward out towards the edge of the area. Goes to his left to Kwashi. And from goal kicks, it's Kwashi and Edwards as the two centre-backs, and Jack Stevens almost pushes into midfield as an extra man in the middle of the park. Bazunu, the goalkeeper, being closed down here by Windass. Goes to his left to Kwashi. Once more into the left back, Wellington. Gets away from Barnett. And then plays it into Downs. And then across out to the right where there's space for Sugawara. Takes a heavy touch into the Wrexham half. And plays it in front of him here to Fraser. Try to drive inside. Lays it off for Edwards. Back forward to Fraser again. Then Edwards. Slowing it down to Downs. Everyone behind the ball for Wrexham. Kwashi. Into the middle of the park to Charles. Into Edwards. Just knocking it around here, Southampton, trying to find a bit of space. As Wrexham are very compact when they have to defend. And they're going to have to defend well this evening. Fraser. Trying to find Sugawara, blocked off as he tried to run off the ball there, Fraser. Referee don't see it as a foul. And Kakurchi can get it down the line for Wrexham. Up to Kiefer Moore. Last touch off Stevens. Thrown for Wrexham. And already early on in this game, Kiefer Moore is being quite a handful for the Southampton defenders. And there is Will still making notes on his notepad. The youngest manager in the EFL this season at the age of 32. He will turn 33 in the middle of October. Wonder what exactly he's writing down on that pad. Wonder what he's thought of the first 15 or so minutes at St Mary's. As his side here on the ball at the back with Stevens. Going to these right centre back of Edwards. Forward to Fraser. He's got his back to goal, so lays off to Sugawara. So Edwards again, returning the ball all the way back to Bazunu. Shows how good the Wrexham pressing is at the moment. Just putting them under enough pressure where it forces the Saints to go backwards. Bazunu's had a bit of a stop-start Southampton career last season. He only made 8 appearances, and they were all in the Belgian league as he had a loan spell at Standard Liège. But he was suffering with injury throughout the last couple of years. He had an Achilles injury from April 24 to January 25, and then in April to July of this year he suffered a meniscus injury. So he's not been quite playing a lot of first-team football. He's going to have to step up this season, as of course Aaron Ramsdale jumped ship to Newcastle recently. So Wrexham throwing down the line, headed up by Kiefer Moore, then headed away by Jack Stevens, still in the Southampton half there as it drops to Downs, gets his chest to touch in front of him, but cleared by Lewis Brunt for Wrexham. Always far as Sugawara, but it keeps it in the Southampton half. Allows Wrexham to relax a little bit. Bit of a poor pre-season, really, for Wrexham in terms of results. They won their first game against Melbourne victory with goals from O'Connor, Hardy and Evans, and then lost the next three. Technically four. They lost against Sydney, Wellington, Phoenix, and lost two pre-season games to Groningen, the Dutch side. Lost 1-0 in a closed door friendly, and then lost one in front of fans 3-1 in another friendly. So in terms of results, it's not been the best for Wrexham. But they've started decently so far in this one, matching and battling and giving up a good fight against the Southampton side, who were recently relegated from the top division. As the ball drops here to Dobson, switching out to the left to Brunt, who can control it on the edge of his own box. Plays it into the middle of the park to James, then towards the goalkeeper. It's slightly short, but he'll get there ahead of Armstrong and clear first time. It's just little errors like that need to be avoided. Don't want to be gifting these type of teams goals in this division, because it won't be as hard to come back and pick up points when you're gifting goals away. Southampton start from the back. Only won one Premier League home game last season. That was against Everton. It was a 1-0 win in early November. But they lost 15, which included 9 in a row from the late November into the middle of March. We want to get this place positive again, as a backwards header is going to be chased down here by O'Brien, beaten to the ball by Stevens, but an almost opportunity for Wrexham. It's Edwards still running and closing down here. O'Brien just slows himself down as Edwards was able to shield the ball away from the former Forest man. It's now Fraser on halfway. Going to dink a ball down the line, looking for Sugawara. Kakurchi needs to deal with it, doesn't quite do so at the moment. In the final third for Southampton, lays it off for Shea Charles. Low ball in, and then a shot towards goal, well saved at the near post. Ball back in by Sugawara, deflects, laid off. Robinson with a shot, then to Downs, who has the shot. And it's blocked and goes away for a corner. Just could not clear their lines there. Wrexham started with the first ball in the box there by Shea Charles, who put a low one into Robinson. His shot saved at the near post. Back in by Sugawara. Laid off to Robinson again, that time by Armstrong. And then a whole heap of blocks on the ball to eventually get it away for a corner. So more defending for Wrexham to do. Closest we've come to a Southampton goal. It's an outswinger into the middle of the box. It's headed away to the edge of the area. Headed backward by Downs to Wellington. And then back once more to Bazunu, who's got plenty of time in his all-purple kit. For Southampton, he's going to send a long ball forward down the left-hand side. Edwards to head it across towards Armstrong. It's just gone beyond him. And into the gloves of Ward. A very exciting game so far early on. Really enjoying this. Both teams looking confident in themselves and their way of playing to score goals. We'll keep up to date with the other scores that are going on in the other three divisions. Got 2 other Championship games and then 2 League 1 and League 2 games as well. And there's no goals in any of the other Championship games, where it's Charlton, Watford and Coventry against Hull in League 1. Still 0-0 in all their games. Peterborough, Luton and Reading taking on Huddersfield. And in League 2 we have got the 1 goal. Tranmere 1-0 up against Shrewsbury. And then Notts County, Salford is 0-0. As we are less than 20 minutes in here at St Mary's, it's still goalless, but plenty of opportunities for both sides so far, making it a really tasty start to the Championship season for both. The Southampton throwing in the Wrexham half. It can't be controlled by Downs. Pretty challenging throw into control. And it's now with Windass. A through ball to Kiefer Moore, and he's timed his run perfectly. Kiefer Moore in the box. Can he get the shot off? Pushing the back. And the referee gives a penalty. He did look onside there, Kiefer Moore. Of course, there is no VAR in the Championship, so the penalty will be awarded. But even without VAR, it looked onside. And he's not known for his pace there, Kiefer Moore. So as he was bearing down on goal, the defenders were catching him up. One of them being Ronnie Edwards, who just pushes him in the back, sends him to the ground. And that is a Stonewall penalty. It's just silly. And some might see that as slightly soft, but he puts two hands right into the back of Kiefer Moore and pushes him. And gives the referee little choice but to give a penalty. Ronnie Edwards can't complain. And it gives Wrexham the chance to go ahead. It'll be one of their new signings, Josh Windass, who got 13 last season in the Championship. All those Wrexham supporters will hold their breath as he steps up. Their new number 10. Can he deliver the goal from 12 yards? Josh Windass against Bazunu. Right-footed. Slots it into the back of the net. Bazunu guessed the right way. But he went underneath the goalkeeper. And Wrexham have had a wonderful start in this game. And they have been rewarded with a goal. They've made the long trip down south early on for this lunchtime kickoff. And they are up via a penalty. Won by Kiefer Moore, scored by Josh Windass, given away by Ronnie Edwards. And on the overall balance, Wrexham deserve a goal. You could say the same for Southampton. It's been pretty balanced. I don't think any of the two teams have been better than the other. It's been pretty evenly matched in their own ways of playing. But it is Wrexham to get that first goal of their new campaign with their new signing, Josh Windass from the penalty spot. The goalkeeper dived to his left, Windass went to his right. It wasn't exactly in the corner, but he hit it hard enough and low enough to make it too difficult for Bazunu to stop. And early on at St Mary's, halfway inside the first half, it's Southampton 0, Wrexham 1. Wrexham have waited 43 years to score again in this division. I'm sure it is well worth the wait. They haven't won at Southampton since February 1974. The only other time they've won here was back in September 1958. And Southampton can believe they can get back in it because they've been creating chances, but to give a goal away like that, so poor from Ronnie Edwards to push Kiefer Moore in the back as he was going to have a one-on-one with Bazunu, as Wrexham have won it in the middle of the park, and it's gone into the middle of the park here to Dobson, out wide right to Barnett. He's not quite seen too much of the ball recently as he had a decent start to the game, and he plays the overlap of Dobson, who crosses it into the near post. Easy catch for Bazunu. Of course, the man to aim for is Kiefer Moore, but couldn't quite find him with that delivery. It's now Southampton on the edge of their 18-yard box with Joshua Kwashi. 21-year-old German centre-back. Wasn't involved, though, in the Euros for Germany. As it's with Ronnie Edwards. Going back to the Irish goalkeeper, Bazunu. Dublin-born. Left Ireland. Shamrock Rovers to join Manchester City in 2019 as Robinson flicks and runs around. I think that is Max Cleworth. And it'll be a yellow card for the Wrexham number 4 on his 23rd birthday today. Oh, went through Robinson's legs with a dummy and then went through Cleworth and he had a hold of his shirt. And I don't think Robinson was actually going to get to the ball because there was defenders covering him, but the fact he had a good hold of the jersey did mean that the referee had to give a yellow card. It's been a decent start for the referee so far, must be said. I think he got the penalty decision right, and that was probably a yellow card as well. Southampton just under 25 minutes in, they trail to Wrexham. Robinson on the halfway line, having to go all the way back to Bazunu on the edge of the 18-yard box. Edwards back into Stevens, the captain. Across to the left to Kwashi. No press on him at the moment. He's going to go for a long ball. It's a high ball. It's in behind for Robinson. Ward's coming out to give chase to it, and he'll get there outside the box and kick it out for a Southampton throw-in. Very good awareness there from Danny Ward to read the situation and clear away. Kwashi. Back to Stevens in the centre circle. Fraser. Back into Edwards. Everyone behind the ball for Wrexham. Out to this near side to Sugawara. Just a little bit flat when they kind of get towards this final third stage. Southampton at times. Not every time, because they have got some shots away and have created a few chances. But Kwashi, long ball again over the top. Ward's coming out this time. He can use his hands as it's in the 18-yard box. Just gets there ahead of Adam Armstrong. And it's Wrexham with the ball with their goalkeeper. And I think the big thing as well for Wrexham that they'll need to certainly not rely on, but they'll need more of, is goals from their attackers. Last season they had 8 goals as their top goal scorer, and 3 players finished on 8 in the league with Elliot Lee and Rathbone and Fletcher. All 3 of those, funnily enough, not in the not starting today. Fletcher did leave as a free agent, but no Rathbone and Lee. So they will need those Kiefer Moore and Windass goals to either. Again, it's hard to know what Wrexham are going to do this season, because are they going to be struggling because the level's a bit too big of a jump, or are they going to just take to it really well and be up there? You just don't know, but I do think they'll need at least 1 or 2 of their forward players, hitting double figures for sure in the league to make sure they finish as high up the table as possible. As we've got a Southampton free kick in a left-back position. We're going to be taken by Gavin Bazunu. Also, going to try and aim for at least 1 commentary a week this season, hopefully. So the next one I've got booked in is Derby against Coventry next week on the 16th, which is Saturday. I think it's one of the earlier kickoffs as well. Again, I think it is the 12:30 kickoff. Let me just make sure. Yes, it is. It's the 12:30 kickoff in that one. In the centre circle with Shay Charles. Going out to the left to Kwashi. He's played a few over the top through balls in the last minute or so. This time he keeps it short to Wellington. Then to the run of Shay Charles in the left wing position. Not many bodies to aim for in the box. He's checked off there, is it? No, says the referee. But then they lose it. Give it away. Poor ball there. I think that was by Dobson. And then Downs goes into the middle of the pitch to Edwards. Out wide right to Sugawara. 1-on-1 with Kakurchi. Gets the switch across here to Kwashi, the left centre-back. Working it to Wellington, who goes for the early cross into the box. It's headed away by Connor Cody. Still live in the area. Another header away for Wrexham. And there's a free kick as Dobson won the header. He was shoved in the back by Kwashi. And that'll be a free kick for the Red Dragons, who seem to be settling in to Championship life very, very smoothly. Southampton got to try and get some sort of momentum going this season after such a poor campaign last time out. Didn't win any of their first 9 games of last season. Only won 6 of their 44 in all competitions, losing 32. Conceded exactly 100 goals as well last season, Southampton, in all competitions. As free kick for Wrexham. Ronnie Edwards again, not learning his lesson. That time he's got a hold of the Kiefer Moore's shoulders and pulled him right back for a free kick. We'll be seeing this, and knowing he's got Nathan Wood on the bench as a backup for Southampton, the 6'2", 23-year-old centre-back, because it's just been very nervy and just a strange performance from Ronnie Edwards with some of the decision-making he's doing on that pitch at the moment. So it's about 40 so yards out, just towards the left-hand side. It'll be a left-footed cross from O'Brien. It's a teasing ball, and it's a header that's been won, and it's hit the roof of the net. Don't think there was a flag up on Lewis Brunt, and that's a chance. He's well onside. Free header, about 10 yards out, aiming for the top left corner. He got up the highest, but just couldn't quite direct it underneath the crossbar. And that's a couple chances Wrexham have had. Take away their penalty. Connor Cody blasted one over the bar from a couple of yards out at 0-0. Probably should have been a goal. And same again, not saying that should have been a goal necessarily, with a bit more of a difficult chance, but at least test the goalkeeper. There's O'Brien, caught late by Downs. Phil Parkinson not happy because that's Phil Downs' I think third foul of the game, and they've all been rather aggressive challenges. Phil Parkinson letting his thoughts be known to the officials. Actually, not an amazing record for Phil Parkinson as a championship manager. Like I said before, 26 wins from his previous 141 games in charge in this division. 78 defeats in those 141 matches. He's lost his last 7 as well at this level. 1 win in his last 10. And it's going to be a yellow card for Phil Parkinson for his reaction to no yellow card for Flynn Downs. Just needs to try and relax, if possible, the 57-year-old Chorley-born manager. Bit of the club now for 4 years. The cross goes in, it's a long one, it's into the box towards Cleworth. Header one for Southampton, it drops to Robinson, heavy touch, can't get it around Brunt. And that will be a throw-in for Wrexham in the Southampton half. Phil Parkinson in discussion with some of his staff on the bench. Got his assistant Steve Parkin, coach David Jones, goalkeeper coach of Aidan Davison, who will all be as key as Parkinson in terms of getting his team working the way it does. Stevens towards the corner flag, clears away for Southampton up towards halfway. It's dummied by Armstrong to Fraser, and then tries to play a ball through towards Downs, well cut out by Cleworth, but only as far as Wellington. Still in the Wrexham half, he lifts it out to the right hand side towards Fraser, who will battle with Kikuchi, who will go over the challenge, and that will be a free kick, I believe, for Wrexham in a left wing back position. Good battle in there between Kikuchi and Fraser. I think Southampton have just got to be wary of not becoming too frustrated in this game. That will probably play into the Wrexham hands more than anything, to be honest. Wrexham do quite like that, you know, that bit of edge to their games, because they're quite a physical team, very direct team, a lot of long ball, but it's worked for them to get them those back-to-back promotions. As Ward goes long up towards Kiefer Moore, chests it down to O'Brien, then forward, trying to find Windass, but cleared by Stevens. Into the Wrexham half we go. Connor Cody wins the header, cleared up the pitch by Kikuchi. Up towards Moore, flicked on to Windass, laid backwards to Dobson, then forward and through for Barnett. The pass is just too heavy, and Kwashi can clean up at the back for Southampton and get himself around Dobson. Tries to play the pass forward, but he's been fouled by the central midfielder. As Wrexham play quickly. Down the left-hand side, Wellington inside to Robinson. Some good tidy feet on the edge of the area. Has been brought down. Referee says no. Ward clears for Wrexham. Up into the sky. Header won by Wellington. Only as far as Kiefer Moore heads it back to Matty James, who can play a pass here into Brunt. Forward to O'Brien. Plenty of space for the central midfielder. Then in behind for the runner Kikuchi. It'll be Sugawara to get there first. Goes back to Bazunu, who then clears it first time for the Saints. Out to the Southampton right. Fraser pushing the back. Free kick on halfway. Knew exactly what he was doing there, Lewis Brunt. 24-year-old centre-back. Brought in last season for £400,000 from Leicester City. Thank you to everyone who is here. If you could like and subscribe, that'd be absolutely fantastic. As it's Southampton 0, Wrexham 1. Penalty from Windass is the difference so far. Cleworth dispossessed on the left-hand side by Armstrong, who enters the 18-yard box on the angle, lays it off. Robinson, can he get the shot off? No, he can't. Good defending by O'Brien. Cleared up the pitch for Wrexham. Kept alive by Kwashi, but couldn't quite keep it in play. And that'll be a throw-in for Wrexham. Got away with that there. Could have been a lot worse for the Red Dragons. They've been in the lead now for 13 minutes of the game. And looking settled and confident in this game. Long throwing for Wrexham, can't quite find Windass. Bazunu, big kick forward, but there's not much height up there for him to aim for. Armstrong at 5'8", then Ryan Fraser at 5'4". Probably long ball isn't the best way for Southampton to play. As they've won it back through the Wrexham clearance. It's on the halfway line with Charles. To the left to Robinson. Midway side the Wrexham half. Twisting and turning to keep himself away from Cleworth. Then down the line for Fraser, who's got Dobson on his back. Plays it into Wellington. It's now Robinson again. Back into Stevens. Towards the right side now to Edwards. Being closed down by O'Brien, so needs to be careful. Goes to Stevens and then he's going to go back to Bazunu. Really good pressing from Wrexham. 9 minutes of the first half to play. Southampton 0, Wrexham 1. Stevens lifted ball down the right channel. Volleyed away for Wrexham. Played up towards Kakurchi. Can't quite find a yellow shirt with the green shorts on. And it'll be Southampton to restart from the back again with Ronnie Edwards. First meeting between these two was that Wrexham away win in 1958. 66 years ago. To be exact, 24,423 days ago. The first meeting between these two sides. Back in Division 3. Free kick here for Wrexham. I think it was an offside given against Southampton. And it'll be Danny Ward to take it. Only played 5 times last season. The Wrexham goalkeeper. Twice in the Premier League. Both in defeats to Newcastle and Wolves in December. And then played 3 of the League Cup games for Leicester. Last campaign. Kicked forward by Brunt. Moore will chase it. Header won by Sugawara. Edwards can't clear it. Blocked by Kakurchi. Kicks it off Edwards. Throwing in the final third for Wrexham. On this near side. Phil Parkinson will be delighted with how he seems playing so far. Throwing taken quickly to O'Brien. Back to Kakurchi. The wing back. Thought about the cross with his right foot. Tries the 1-2 with O'Brien, who flicks it into the air. But it's going to be dealt with here by Sugawara. Unfortunate there for Wrexham. Liberato Kakurchi, their new left wing back, New Zealand international, 35 appearances for his country, born in Wellington. Made his debut for them back in 2018. First left his home country in August 2020 to go to Belgium. And his most recent journeys has led him to Italy, playing for Empoli, where he's been signed from for £2.2 million plus add-ons. Unfortunately, relegated last season. Empoli did reach the cup semi-final though, but did get beat 5-1 to Bologna, the eventual winners 5-1 over 2 legs. As Wrexham have some defending to do. Downs in the middle of the park. Going out to the left now to Wellington. Down the line. Into Charles, then back through for Wellington. Lifts it to the edge of the area to Downs. Decent touch in front of him. He's surrounded by yellow shirts, but the shot can be taken in the end by Armstrong, but it's straight down the throat of Danny Ward. Challenging ball for Downs to control, but he was able to create a little bit of room, and then the loose touch just fell its way to Armstrong just inside the area, and if he could have maybe have aimed for a corner, that could have potentially ended in a goal, but it was right at Ward. Is Kwashi dealing with this bouncing ball, and he defends it well, and it's now Wellington lifting it out to the left towards Armstrong, who will give chase, and he plucks it out of the air brilliantly. Now into Robinson. Looking for that forward pass, but starts again by going backwards to Charles. Forward to Ryan Fraser on the left wing position. Allowed to cut onto his right foot. He's got Wellington overlapping. Goes inside to Robinson instead. 1-2 with Edwards. Robinson in the area, goes down. No foul, says the referee. Not many. Asks for the penalties. Flynn Downs control, intercepts, then is fouled. Still alive in the area of Armstrong. He goes back here to Wellington. Tries to take on Matty James. Falls over. No foul. Looked for it. Definitely. Cleared for Wrexham. Southampton just building a little bit of momentum and pressure here. So they still attack down the left-hand side with Wellington in the final third. Being tracked by Windass. Goes down over the challenge. Free kick given by the referee. Towards the corner flag. Bit of a better angled corner. As the referee, James Bell, penalises Windass. James was the one who put the challenge on Robinson in the box for that penalty shout. Not enough in it for me personally. And play continued, and in the end we've finished with a Southampton free kick on the left-hand side. Looks like they're going to crowd out the 6-yard box with 4.5 minutes left of the first half to play. It's going to be taken by their Japanese defender, Yukinari Sugawara. Scored once last season in the Premier League in an away defeat to Brentford early on in the season. More than likely going to have to be the provider this time around. One-man war for Wrexham of Barnet. Cross goes into the near post. It's a header one for Wrexham. Kicks back out wide by Wellington towards Sugawara, who wins the header on Barnet. It's now with Downs, trying to clip it in towards the box, but it's blocked off by James. Puts it out wide to Kukurchi, and to James again. It's now Kiefer Moore outside of the boot ball, looking for the runner. Kukurchi couldn't quite keep it in play. Throw in just inside their own half for the Saints. And then works it out to the left-hand side to Wellington, who enters the Wrexham half. No pressure on him at the moment as he continues to drive forward. Then lays it off towards Robinson, who can keep it in. On that left-hand side, ball through in the box towards Fraser, who slides to get there, and he puts it across. And I'm sure it took a nick, and behind for a corner. Made something out of nothing there, Southampton. Robinson finding that Fraser run from right-hand side. He drifted over to the left, and as it got towards the byline, Fraser was sliding to try and get something on it, and he did. And he forced a really good save in the end by Danny Ward. And they've got a corner to defend now. An outswinger from Sugawara on this near side. Left arm raised in the air. Delivery goes in. The header's won as well by Southampton. And Edwards is kept in by Stevens. Towards the opposite corner flag now. Kicks it off Cody. Throwing in the end for Southampton towards the corner flag. Well defended there by Connor Cody, who's got the 2 goals against Southampton in his career. One of them away from home, all the way back in October 2022. And funnily enough, his only England goal back in October 2020 was against Wales. Got 10 caps for England, Connor Cody. An integral part of the Wolves team who got promoted from the Championship and then went on to play European football. It's going to be a long throw by Kwashi for Southampton. That's a huge throw. Header one at the near post by Moore. Downs back in, but then volleyed away there again. As far as Kwashi for Southampton, who takes a touch back towards his own goal and plays it towards Bazunu, who's going to be closed down here, needs to get rid, and he takes on the pressing Windass, very calmly done by Bazunu. And Southampton are putting pressure on Wrexham here towards the end of the first half. Charles on halfway. Keeps it moving to his right to number 5, Jack Stevens. #201st Southampton appearance for the captain, Jack Stevens. Kwashi. Centre back still on the ball. Goes out to the left to Wellington. Kwashi goes to Jack Stevens. Patient build up so far for Southampton. Edwards. Been forced to go back to the goalkeeper, Bazunu. Making it really difficult. Wrexham to have Southampton on the ball in their own half. Shea Charles, first time ball around the corner. Looking for the run of Armstrong. Cody will get there first and just has to head it out of touch. For a Southampton throwing towards the final third on that far side. Wrexham will be top 10, mark my words. They've made a brilliant start so far, so there's no reason why they can't push for that top 10 in, sniff around the playoff places. Southampton have took their time with this throw-in because they're going to launch it with that long throw that they've got with Joshua Kwashi. And in it goes, again, towards the near post. It's a header won by Wrexham. Cleared, not convincing, though. Wellington tries to kick it back towards the box. Robinson, again, poor ball in there. And it's a header away by Connor Cody towards Kwashi as plays had to be stopped here because there's a Wrexham player still down of Josh Windass. Not quite sure where the injury has occurred from for the goal scorer. Wellington put the ball in. Wellington's first time, he was the first one to try and put the ball in the in the box for Southampton, and it came off Josh Windass and hit him where it hurts, and play's been stopped because of it. That no play can be stopped for when the football gets hit in the footballs. So a bit of a break here before the half-time break. We've hit the 45th minute. We're nearly into the 47th minute of the half. They've not indicated how long is added on, so I'm not quite sure, to be completely honest. We are getting a break for Josh Windass. Again, still don't know how long has been added on yet. He is back to his feet. Usually when that happens, you just do need a few minutes just to kind of have the pain ease away. Charlton-Watford still 0-0. Of course, Charlton newly promoted themselves into this division. Coventry-Hull is 0-0. That's half-time now as well. In League 1, still 0-0. Peterborough, Luton, Reading. Huddersfield in League 2. Salford are 1-0 up away at Notts County. And Tranmere are 2-0 up at home to Shrewsbury. And we are back underway here with Southampton. Still don't know how long's left to this half. Don't know how long was added on. Sugawara on the right-hand side. Forward into Edwards in the right-wing position. Goes back to Stevens. First time cross. That's an unbelievable ball in. And it's off the post. And the rebound's cleared off the line. And cleared again by Cody. Not entirely sure how Southampton have not scored from that attack. Really good first time ball in by Stevens. The ball was met by Robinson, who hit the post. On the rebound, Armstrong had his shot blocked off the line. And his second attempt was again blocked by Connor Cody. A double save from the centre-back. And it remains 1-0 right before the break. No idea how that's not gone in. So unfortunate, firstly for Jack Stevens, because that cross deserved the assist. And also that finish from Jay Robinson. That finish probably deserved the goal. Had to really stretch, but hit the post. But they could score from the resulting corner. Outswinger. Into the box it goes. Missed by almost everyone. Header won at the far post by Barnett. Tried to be kept alive by Robinson, who's asking for a handball. Referee says no. Kwashi flicks on, but then cleared away and then fully cleared by Dobson as he rolls through to Bazunu in the Southampton half. Still don't know how long's been added on, but we still play as we are 48 minutes and 20 seconds into the game. Robinson cutting in from the left-hand side, playing a low ball towards Fraser. Well cleared there by Brunt. Poked out wide right to Edwards, who loses out to O'Brien, who can play it down the line, and the attack's on. Kikuchi down the line for Kiefer Moore, who's onside again. There's a free man at the far post. Kiefer Moore tries to find him, but he took too long. Well defended by Kwashi. And that will be a corner kick if there's time to take it, but there isn't. Half-time whistle is blown by James Bell. Huge chances for both before the break. But before those huge chances, it was Wrexham who went 1-0 up through the penalty spot. Kiefer Moore bearing down on goal, just like he was then. And as he was about to shoot, he was pushed in the back by Ronnie Edwards, which resulted in a Wrexham penalty, which was dispatched by Josh Windass in the 22nd minute. But right at the end of the half, Southampton had their biggest chance of the game. Stevens from the right-hand side whipped across into the far post, which was met by Robinson. And as he put it across goal, he'd beaten the goalkeeper, but he hadn't beaten the post. And as it came out off the post, there was a chance, two chances for Armstrong. His first was blocked off the line by Cody, and his second again was blocked by Connor Cody. And then right after that, on the break, Wrexham attacked. Kikuchi played it in the space down the line for Kiefer Moore, who's running into the box. The angle was tight. Windass was on at the far post. He tried to play it across, but it was blocked by Kwashi. No time for the corner. So here at half-time at St Mary's, it is Southampton 0. Wrexham 1. And that is exactly what the Championship's about. That's been a brilliant first half of football by both. Of course, contrasting styles for sure, even though at times Southampton have gone long and direct, which again is surprising because they haven't got loads of height in their starting 11, but it has been Southampton dominant on the stats. 13 shots to Wrexham's 5, 4 on target to Wrexham's 1, and they've had 71% of the ball. It's almost one of those games, every time Wrexham do find a chance to go forward, they look like they can score. Cody blazed one over the bar from a cross, which he probably should have got on target minimum, really should have scored. Same for Brunt as well, he had a header over the bar at 0-0, I believe, and then they went 1-0 up. So Wrexham have had plenty of chances to have more than one goal, and Southampton have also had their opportunities as well. Within the first minute, Fraser nearly bent one into the far corner. That went just wide. Of course, right at the end there, we had Robinson hit the post. Armstrong have 2 shots blocked. And there was another bit at 1-0 where Southampton had a good 2 or 3 shots blocked. So it can definitely go either way this game as we go into the second half. But I think the main takeaway for me from that first half is when Southampton do get in the 18-yard box, there is so many Wrexham bodies in the way that when they do even get shots off, it's not the keeper they've got to beat. They've probably got to beat another 4 or 5 Wrexham defenders that stand in front of them. But a really exciting first half. Like I say, Wrexham defending really well, but also attacking quite strongly when they do have the chance. And Southampton are showing signs of what they can do. Just when Wrexham do go into that low block, Southampton just can't slow it down too much, where they end up having to go backwards because Wrexham just slowly closing down and force them away because there's just no space to play. And if Southampton can try and keep the play moving rather quickly, I think that's the best chance they'll get to create those spaces and to try and punish this Wrexham team. But no, overall, it's been very... to me, it's felt quite non-stop, which I liked a lot. It seemed like there was no real pauses in play throughout the game. It was quite flowing and exciting to watch. So it is 1-0 to Wrexham so far at half-time. We'll go around the grounds in a moment just to double check on the scorelines just to see if there was any more goals around the ground. In the Championship, Charlton Watford 0-0 at half-time and Coventry Hull also 0-0. In League One, again 2 0-0s. Peterborough taking on Luton and Reading drawing 0-0 to Huddersfield, who are one of the title favourites in League One. Huddersfield bringing a lot of very strong players in to their team under their new manager of Lee Grant. And then in League Two, it's where the most goals have been so far. Salford leading away 1-0 against Notts County. That'll be a big win for Salford if they can see that one through. And also Tranmere 2-0 up against Shrewsbury. Goals coming from Taylor Harris and also Josh Davison as well. We'll see what other games are going on today as well in the Championship. We've got another 7 going on later on. 6 of them at 3 o'clock, and then they've got the 5:30 kickoff of Sheffield United against Bristol, who took each other on in the playoffs in the semi-final stages last season. We've got Middlesbrough, Swansea, Norwich, Millwall, Oxford, Portsmouth, QPR, Preston, Stoke, Derby, West Brom, Blackburn, and then of course Sheffield United and Bristol in the later kickoff. Out of those 3 o'clocks, because they are being televised. I'm not sure who to watch really. I'm not sure which game stands out. I think Middlesbrough, Swansea will be a good watch. I think they'll all be good watches. Like that's the thing as well with the Championship. When you kind of look at games every week, there's very rarely a bad game. Everyone who plays each other, there's always a story or a player to watch or a manager you're interested to see how they're doing. So I'm not sure who I'll be watching there. None of them really stand out. Like I said, they're all quite evenly matched, and I'm not sure. I'm sure I'll watch one of them. I'm sure of that. I'll be watching one of them. But if we've got any predictions for the second half, you can put them in the chat. At the minute it is 1-0 to Wrexham. Penalty won in the 20th minute by Kiefer Moore. Again on the break as well, which has been quite the story for a lot of the big Wrexham chances on the break. And Kiefer Moore is about to let fly with his left foot. Don't get me wrong, it's his weak foot. I don't think he would have scored. But Ronnie Edwards just had that urge to put 2 hands in the back and push him. I still don't know the thinking behind that for Ronnie Edwards, who's usually a lot more composed at the back. He had a really positive loan spell at QPR in the Championship last season, scoring the 2 goals. And he was really well thought of in League One during his time at Peterborough as well. But that first half, he just seemed really, I don't know if it was nerves or just lost. It was some strange decisions, and to push Kiefer Moore in the back like that was just asking for the penalty. And then Windass dispatched. Like I said, Bazunu did guess the right way, but just too much power on it from Windass. Not exactly in the bottom right corner, but just close enough for the ball to strike the back of the net. But it's not exactly like Southampton haven't had chances. Their biggest ones coming at the end of the half, with Robinson hitting the post and Armstrong getting his 2 shots blocked by Cody. Like, he had to slide and get his leg out to put that towards goal. Robinson, it really did deserve the goal. Hit the post, and then Connor Cody with not 1 big block but 2. Don't get me wrong, the second one, the angle was very, very tight. I don't think Armstrong would have squeezed it in, but that first one, that was certainly goal bound, and he had to be in the right place at the right time, and that's what £2 million brings you through Connor Cody. He's been really good so far in that back 3. Signed for £2 million. Came through at Liverpool for 9 years from 2005 to 2014. Then spent 8 years at Wolves, which you've already spoken about. In that, he had a loan spell at Everton for a season. Then most recently with Leicester, where he did win the Championship with them in 2024, like he did with Wolves himself in 2018. Almost 200 appearances for Connor Cody in the Premier League. I'm sure he'll want to hit that landmark if he can. He's on 198 appearances at the moment. 32 years of age. Very well-spoken player, Connor Cody. He was being interviewed beforehand, and he's done a few punditry roles, and he does seem like a really good character to have as well. But then when it comes to business, he can be very professional, and I think he'll be a huge help, because the potential that Wrexham have got with those 2 centre-backs alongside, with Max Cleworth and Lewis Brunt, they're 2 really young but promising defenders, and with someone like Connor Cody kind of anchoring them in the middle, I think will bring their game on a lot. You know, Max Cleworth got Wrexham's Player of the Season for last season. He played 42 of the 46 League One games, scoring 7 goals. His last was against Mansfield away towards the end of February. He was also named in the League One Team of the Season alongside Ryan Barnett, the right wing-back. They were the only 2 Wrexham players who got into the League One Team of the Season last time around. And then, for Lewis Brunt as well, brought in last season. It's his first ever Championship campaign. He started coming through at Aston Villa, then spent 3 years at Leicester, making 4 first-team appearances, 2 of them in the Premier League against Spurs and Forest. This is just his 30th Wrexham appearance, though, coming up towards the age of 25 at the start of November. That's when his birthday is. Hello, no confidence in Danny Ward. I was very surprised Danny Ward started, because in pre-season it has been Arthur Okonkwo who has been starting the games in between the sticks for Wrexham. So when I saw Danny Ward starting, I was rather confused, just mainly for the fact he hadn't really played a lot of the pre-season games. That's all it was for me. But he's not really been forced into too many saves so far, Danny Ward. I'm trying to think of any saves he made. The Ryan Fraser one was wide. He did make a decent save on Robinson at 0-0. There was a ball low in the box, and about 10 yards out, Robinson hit a shot towards the near post, and he had to just dive to his near post to just parry it behind. It was a save you'd expect him to make, but he still made it. But his last few years at Leicester just weren't great for Danny Ward. Conceded 46 in 26 Premier League games in the 22-23 season. Wasn't used at all in their promotion year under Enzo Maresca. No appearances for him then. And then only played 5 times last season. So that did confuse me. And Dobson, no level for start in Championship. The only thing I'd say about Dobson, this is his first Championship campaign as well for him, and he's at the age of 27. He came through at Arsenal and then spent a couple of years at West Ham. He's not looked out of place in the first half. Of course, it might be a position that Wrexham could look to maybe bring someone in. They have brought in George Thomason from Bolton, a central midfielder. So, and he's out for today. He's not quite made the squad for the opening game of the season. So maybe he might get some game time, and that might put Dobson on the bench. But I think for the first half, he's not looked out of place. But I do understand what you mean. He's never played higher than League One. Scored once last season, Dobson, in the away draw at Cambridge at the start of April. But we'll have to just wait and see. I think, with a lot of these Wrexham players who have kind of been kept on since their promotion from League One, and even some of them have been here since League Two, it's just giving them that chance to show what they're about. Can they do it at this level? And so far in the first half, all those players who have been here for quite a few years look fine. They don't look out of place, within the season as it goes on, and it can become a bit draining. Maybe we might see some of them start to struggle because, this season won't all go Wrexham's way. They'll go through little patches of not winning and not picking up results. But then it's about when they are winning games, can they maybe build on that and maybe build some momentum? Again, it's what's so exciting about the Championship, the complete roller coaster of emotions that everyone goes through, all teams go through. It's never a smooth ride for anyone. As the second half of this game will be getting underway in a couple of minutes' time. Both of these teams separated by a Josh Windass penalty given away by Edwards on Kiefer Moore. Just showing a few of the goals here from around the grounds. Tranmere taking the lead against Shrewsbury 2-0. Shrewsbury, I do believe, relegated, weren't they, last year from League One, if I'm not mistaken. But as the second half will be getting underway shortly, can Wrexham hold on, or will Southampton get the turnaround? We'll have to wait and see. It's poised for a really exciting second 45 minutes of football. And of course, these games they've got coming up just gives them the chance to just see, do we need any extra players? Could we maybe invest in another midfielder or an attacker, or wherever they feel they might be a little bit weak? For Southampton, they do have Northampton in the League Cup away on Tuesday, but they've got a challenging away fixture. They've got to go to Ipswich on the 17th and then head back home and host Stoke on the 23rd. And for Wrexham, they've got Hull at home in the League Cup, and then they've got to host another 2 games. So they've got 3 home games in a row. The 2 after Hull will be West Brom and Sheffield Wednesday. So some difficult fixtures there for Wrexham, but nothing too difficult where you don't think they could maybe get something from it. So it'll be good challenges for them to see exactly where they line up as both sets of teams are back out for the second half. Don't believe there's been any changes. And it's Southampton to kick us off, kicking right to left. It'll be Wrexham left to right towards that away end, who aren't behind the goal. They're just out of shot of the camera towards the corner flag. And Southampton are in possession early on with Flynn Downs. Back to central centre-half for Stevens, then to his left, Kwashi. Thinking about a long ball, but keeps it short to Wellington. Kwashi again. Wellington lines it. Robinson touching to Kwashi, tries to return it. Second time is cleared by Cleworth. And it finds its way to Windass, who went for an early strike off the backside of Downs. It's now to Moore. Windass shoved off the ball as he played it, and that'll be a free kick for Wrexham. Let's get the timer started, and I'll read that comment in the chat. I don't see Parkinson play Windass behind Moore and another striker. Overbooking the striker and they want Broadhead. They've got a ridiculous amount of strikers, Wrexham. As I was doing the notes for this game, I just didn't know which one they were going to select as an early free kick was taken down the right side of the box, but Windass went early. It was unmarked, but again, went early, and that'll be a free kick for Southampton, which they've taken quickly from the offside flag that was raised. Yeah, I mean, like, Ollie Palmer and Jack Marriott aren't in the squad for Wrexham today. They've obviously got Josh Windass and Kiefer Moore starting. They've got Sam Smith and Ryan Hardy on the bench as 2 backup strikers as well. So they're not short of options up front here, Wrexham. As it's Southampton attacking on the right. Shea Charles in the area. Found on his left foot. Goes for the shot, which deflects and goes wide. Hits the side netting. Southampton are asking for a penalty. They want a handball there. For me, Ryan Fraser and Shea Charles have probably been the better of the 2 players for Southampton. The original shot was going wide, and then it came off the hand of Cleworth. And the assistant referee on the far side has a clear view of that, because that camera angle shows, and the referee's a little bit blocked off by, I think it was one of the Wrexham players. The cross goes in from the corner, headed away, left it for Wellington, tries to cross it, drops for a shot for Wellington, who keeps it alive. Definitely a handball there, and it did seem like it was Cleworth's arm that was in an unnatural position. Southampton will feel hard done by. Ball into the far post. Edwards heads it across, and then another headed towards goal by Armstrong, but it goes wide of the right-hand post. It's a positive start for Southampton. Still Wrexham 1 up, though. Certainly a big shout for a penalty, and no wonder they felt aggrieved they didn't get it. Good diagonal ball in the box there by Downs. Headed across by Edwards, but then a poorly judged header by Armstrong. Left-footed by Charles. The arm's in an unnatural position. It's got to be given as a penalty for me. It looks like the referee's view is blocked by Armstrong for Southampton. But there's a camera angle they first showed where you can see that the referee on the assistant referee on the far side can see the handball. I'm sure of it. But it wasn't given, and it remains 1-0 to Wrexham. Again, can't allow that to frustrate them too much, Southampton. Got to keep calm and playing their football. Downs. Finds Edwards at right centre-back, 3.5 minutes into the second half. Can Southampton score an early goal to get themselves back level? Switch from Edwards out to Wellington on halfway. Lays it back into Kwashi. Probably going to have to do a lot of defending here, Wrexham, in the second half if they are able to keep this 1-goal lead. Edwards tries to clear it. Blocked off by O'Brien, then controlled and played down the left here for Kiefer Moore, who will keep it in. There's another counter-attack on for Wrexham. Kiefer Moore cuts inside, edge of the area, tried the shot, and it goes through to Bazunu as it was just deflected there by Shea Charles. Kiefer Moore stayed down, but the referee didn't have to stop play. It's not a head injury. Southampton will break. Robinson runs into traffic, but then it's kept alive. And it's now out to the left to Wellington. Tries to go for a ball in behind for Robinson in the box. Well caught by Ward. And now play will be stopped for the injured Kiefer Moore. Not what Wrexham want to see. As he took the shot on, it came off Charles. Ooh, yeah, painful. So basically, as Kiefer Moore went to shoot, Charles got his foot in the way. So he kind of kicked the ball straight onto another foot. Bit of a painful one there as Phil Parkinson, his hair is all over the place. You could tell he's probably a little bit stressed on that touchline. But the right boot, Kiefer Moore's certainly feeling the pain. Subtitles Espanol. I don't know how to do subtitles, I'm sorry. Don't think I offer subtitles on my videos. Don't think I quite made it. Yeah, subtitles closed. Do apologise. So we're going to have a slight break. And it's not a tactical one. Definitely that would have been a bit of a stinger, really, that for Kiefer Moore. It does give Southampton staff a bit of time to have a chat. Will's still obviously the head of it. He's got his assistant, Paul Trollope, and then 2 coaches of Adam Lallana, who recently retired, finishing his career at Southampton. He's also a coach alongside Carl Martin as well. But Paul Trollope, a very experienced assistant in the Championship. But of course, Southampton hoping Will still is here for the long run. Had quite a few managers as of late. Of course, Ivan Juric had 16 games in charge. The Croatian just won 2, lost 13. Russell Martin before that. Then Ruben Selles and Nathan Jones, who lasted 94 days altogether. He's now in charge of Charlton and he's got them promoted from League One to the Championship. Back to his feet, Kiefer Moore, running, walking slightly gingerly. Of course, Wrexham will be hoping he can continue. But back underway, big kick out of the feet of Danny Ward, and it bounces through for a throw-in for Southampton. Yeah, it does look like Kiefer Moore will come back onto the pitch. They do have the two options of Ryan Hardy and Sam Smith on the bench if they need to call upon another striker. It's just ticking over the 52nd minute. Still 1-0 to Wrexham. It's Southampton to attack in their half. Sugawara try to take on Kikuchi. Can't quite do so. Throwing right next to the corner flag for the Saints on that far side. Well won by Yukinari Sugawara. 15 appearances for Japan. Not in their World Cup squad though back in 2022. And here he is on the ball inside to Charles. Fraser back into Edwards. Just needs to keep moving the ball around as quickly as possible. To the left it goes to Wellington. Still in the final third here for Southampton. Robinson, the 18-year-old. Onto his right foot in the corner of the box. Goes across to his right to Stevens. Then out wide right to Sugawara. Down the line for Fraser. Wants to cross. Stopped by Brunt but can keep it moving as he goes backwards to Sugawara. Given time to get the cross in, but it's blocked there by Kikuchi. I hope everyone is doing well. 21 people in the stream. That's a great amount of numbers. If you can like and subscribe if you haven't already, that'd be fantastic. As Robinson runs at Barnett towards the byline, ball goes to the near post, and it's easily collected by Danny Ward. A big shout there because Max Cleworth was about to clear it away, but Ward gave him the shout. And it's going to be a big kick here from the 6'3" goalkeeper. Big kick out of his hands out towards the left-hand side, where it's almost controlled by Windass, just slightly under his foot. And that'll be throwing for Southampton. We do get a Wrexham change, and Kiefer Moore can't continue with that injury to his right foot. And he'll be replaced by number 28, Sam Smith, who has been really prolific in recent seasons, wherever he's been in league football. He's scored 61 goals in his last 4 seasons in the Football League. Came through at Manchester United, scored 7 in 18 League One appearances for Wrexham as he joined in January as the cross goes in for Southampton. Header towards goal there by their number 24, Shea Charles, but it's an easy save and it's a quick kick forward up towards Sam Smith. Kwashi deals with it well, sends it back to his goalkeeper, Bazunu. Again, Southampton just got to be careful of that counter-attack because Sam Smith is a really good player. You feel probably rather unfortunate he's not started today. The Manchester-born striker scored 11 in 26 for Reading in the first half of the last season, then scored 7 in 19 in all competitions for Wrexham as he made a £2 million move from the Royals to the Red Dragons. Kwashi at left centre-back on the halfway line. Lays it off to his left there to Wellington. Quick 1-2 with Charles. It's now with the number 5, Jack Stevens. Signed a new 3-year deal in the summer. Never scored though in this division as a ball down the right hand side there by Sugawara. Can't find Fraser. Really poor giveaway, and it's a throw in for Wrexham. Over 10 minutes into the second half. It is Southampton 0. Wrexham 1. The most they conceded last season, Wrexham were 3. And they conceded 3 against Stevenage at home and Birmingham away. So didn't concede loads of goals in too many games. Wrexham conceded 34 altogether, kept the most clean sheets in League One as well with 24 as Sam Smith's onside as he's been found on the left hand side, and that's a great sliding challenge. Flag never came. Jack Stevens with the perfectly timed tackle. And there's the first viewing of Sam Smith. It was really well won there by Brunt, and he played it over the top for the runner Smith, who was played onside I believe by Kwashi. And then Stevens, with his pace, was making sure he got there. Didn't really do too much wrong there, Sam Smith. Maybe just that touch into the box was just slightly too heavy, which allowed Stevens to slide across and send it away for a corner. More defending for Southampton to do. It's going to be an in-swinger from the Wrexham captain, James. In it goes. It's a deep one towards Cody, overhit. And it rolls behind for a goal kick for Southampton, as it still remains Southampton 0, Wrexham 1, as we are well into the second half now at St Mary's. I think it's got to be remembered for Southampton, they probably should have had a penalty right at the beginning of the second half for a handball from a Shea Charles shot in the box, which wasn't given. Midway inside the Wrexham half, far side, Sugawara. Back to Downs and into the Japanese defender again. Kwashi, as Southampton look to try the left-hand side. Wellington finds a ball towards Downs, then played round the corner to Armstrong, who's kept himself onside. In the box, angle is tight, tries to get it across. And it's well wide, no one following it up. And that's a goal kick for Wrexham. Defending well so far. Phil Parkinson's side. That was a good move, though, from the Saints. Wellington on halfway, playing it into a more central area to Downs. Then first-time ball around the corner to Armstrong, who just couldn't quite work it on target. Good cover and defending, though, by Brunt, though, to put him under pressure. Big kick by Danny Ward. Up towards Sam Smith. Header won, though, by Downs. Helped on by Armstrong. Well, then Robinson can't keep it in Southampton possession, but they win it back after the Wrexham clearance was poor there by Cleworth. And then a free kick. Dobson just getting a bit too physical with Charles. As it does look like Southampton are going to make another change. Well, another change. Their first change with just over half an hour to play. It looks like it's going to be a double change as well. One of them looks to be their new signing of Damien Downs. A £7 million signing from Cologne. 21-year-old. Edwards lifting it down the right-hand side towards Sugawara. There's too much on it. Seen behind for a goal kick by Lewis Brunt. And I believe now we'll probably see the changes for the Saints. It is going to be Damien Downs, but then also Mateus Fernandes, who is strongly linked with a move away, potentially why he starts this game on the bench. So the first change, we'll see Sugawara, who's been playing right wing back. He'll be replaced by Mateus Fernandes, who's a central midfielder. Scored 2 Premier League goals last season, the one here at home against Liverpool. And the second change, we'll see Adam Armstrong come off for Damien Downs. Not really been too heavily involved this afternoon, Adam Armstrong. So the 2 changes are made. And when it comes to September, it'll be interesting to see if Fernandes remains. So there's going to be a bit of a shuffle around here for Southampton. I reckon they're going to go to a back 4. I just don't know who's going to be playing at right back. Could potentially be Jack Stevens, maybe. Going out to right back, maybe Ronnie Edwards. We'll have to just wait and see. I think it will be Jack Stevens at right back. So back 4 of Stevens, Edwards, Kwashi and Wellington. And then 2 holding midfielders of Charles and Downs, with Fraser on the right, Robinson on the left. And then Mateus Fernandes in that number 10 position, with Downs just in front of him as the number 9. So 4-2-3-1 now for Southampton after those substitutions. So they lift the ball down the left. It'll be given chase to here by Shea Charles, but won't be able to keep it in. And it's another goal kick for Wrexham. Under half an hour to play the 90 now. The Southampton are looking to try and get the equaliser behind due to a penalty, a rightly given penalty, but they probably should have had one of their own in the second half with that handball by, I think it was Max Clee with the handball. Danny Ward, big goal kick, deep into the Southampton half. Good header won by Kwashi. Picked up by Robinson, tries to go around the corner to Downs. Cleared by Cody. Barnett will chase it down. Wellington gets rid, left-footed. It's a big clearance, and it does find Downs, who heads it on here for Robinson. Comes off his back of his heel, then into the feet here. Charles works rather fortunately for the Saints. Charles going down the left-hand side and going on his own, trying to play a ball through into the edge of the box, cut out by Matty James for Wrexham. It's now Barnett at wing-back. Lifted down the right-hand side, can't find a yellow shirt. And it's now Southampton back in possession with their centre-half of Kwashi. Forward into Downs. 2 Downs now on the pitch for Southampton. Flynn Downs and Damien Downs as well, which is always nice and confusing for the commentators. It's at the left back, Wellington, just in front of the halfway line. Finds Kwashi. Ronnie Edwards still almost played a back three at times. It looks like there'll be Ryan Fraser, who will be used as a bit of a right wing back for Southampton. As the 18-year-old Jay Robinson is on the ball, and he's looked lively this game. He should have probably had a goal himself in the first half as he hit the post. Signed a contract till 2029 in April of this year. Jay Robinson, as a ball, it's found Fernandez. Deflected ball goes to the left to Wellington, so momentum still alive here for Southampton. Back down the line to Fernandez, who returns it to Wellington. First time cross goes in. Cody takes a touch, which isn't great, but can clear for a Southampton throw in the final third. They're really knocking at the door now, the home side. Jack Stevens, 30 yards out. Does he fancy a shot? No, he doesn't. He's going to work it to the right here to Fraser. Kwashi, furthest back for Southampton. Just dinks it back out to the right-hand side here to Fraser. Lays it off for Edwards. It's now Fraser again. Goes for a ball in the box. Touch from Fernandez. Goes into Cody. And he plays it to O'Brien. Maybe the count was on. Dobson runs into traffic. Brilliant tackle by Charles. Goes to the left here to Wellington. Forward once more to Robinson. Tries to find the run of Wellington in the box. Cleared by Barnett. But it's better from Southampton. Concentration needs to be kept here, though, for Wrexham. Che Charles. No pressure on the ball at the moment. It's on this near side with Wellington. Plenty of bodies behind the ball, though, for Wrexham. Lifted into the box by Charles. Who's overcooked it. Straight into the gloves of Danny Ward. New rule for the EFL this season. They've got 8 seconds to release it, or it's going to be a corner to the opposition. I reckon Danny Ward's just about used all of his 8 seconds there. To go long, up towards Sam Smith, who can touch it down for O'Brien. Now Kakurchi into O'Brien again, who gets beyond Ronnie Edwards. Needs to release it. Takes too long to release it, and Southampton lay back with Fernandez. Jinks past one, but then can't release it himself. He's actually been caught from behind. And that'll be a free kick for Southampton just inside their own half. Stevens tries to go in between the lines, but the pass has been blocked off by by Windass. And it's now Dobson who's in his striker position. Holds it up, finds Windass again just in front of the centre circle. Tries to fire it to O'Brien. Deflects back towards Windass, though fortunately for him, he's then tripped in midfield by Robinson. And that'll be a free kick for Wrexham with 25 to play. It's in quite a central position, so not much of an angle for Wrexham to work with, as it does go into the box and it's cleared by Edwards. Almost caused a bit of confusion there for Southampton. As Wrexham have forced all the way back to their goalkeeper of Danny Ward. He will go long. Big kick forward. Windass is going to chase this one. Edwards wins the header though. And it's out to the Southampton left, and a chance to attack with Wellington on halfway. Leaves it here for Charles. Stevens into the path of Edwards from right centre-back. Now with Fraser. Charles Lifts it for Downs on the right-hand side. Low, short ball. Caught off by O'Brien. Now Kirkcaldy for Wrexham. Break is on. Into the space here for Sam Smith, who will chase it, but won't beat Kwashi, who's too tall, too big, too strong, too quick. And that'll be Southampton to start again. Don't think they should be playing it into the space there for any Wrexham striker if it's Kwashi chasing them down. Wellington from left wing back, finding Robinson. Wellington continues the run. Robinson will drive inside instead. Lays it off for Charles. Now Downs at 30 yards from goal, just towards the right flank. Goes further wide right here to Fraser, who will cross it into the area. Penalty spot header won by Cleworth. Headed back out wide, though, left by Charles to Wellington. Finds Charles again in the middle, then forward to Robinson. Takes it on the turn nicely. Tries to go on his own, and he gets the shot away. But it's straight at Ward. And that's another chance for Southampton. But it looks like they're losing Tyler Diblin to Everton, and they're just bringing through another really exciting-looking winger in Jay Robinson. Like I said, came through the academy. He's made one appearance for England's under-18s. He's made around 10 or so for the under-17s. He's looked really good so far. As Wellington lifts it down the left channel here for Downs, and that's Damien Downs, their new striker. Holds it up and goes back into Wellington. Just slowing it down here, Southampton. Middle of the park, it's Fernandez. Back out wide here to Wellington. Finds Fernandez on the edge of the area. Allowed to turn and shoot towards the near post. And it's saved by Ward. Running out of time here, Southampton. But they're testing Danny Ward more. Making him have to make some saves. Long ball again. Header won by Kwashi. Into the Wrexham half it goes. And back out of the half as it's headed away by Barnett. Headed down by Windass into Dobson. Ball just goes under his foot. But he can return it back to Barnett. He came through at Shrewsbury. He's now made well over 90 appearances for Wrexham. Clips forward towards Sam Smith. Goes down in the area. Referee says no. Not enough contact there by Edwards. And it's now Southampton who are still desperate for this equaliser. Fernandez bringing it forward on the right-hand side. Slowing down. One-on-one with O'Brien. Goes backwards here to Edwards. Dinked out to the left to Wellington. Good control as well from the Brazilian, who will go for the early cross towards Damien Downs, who is 6'4", but there wasn't enough height on that. Cleared by Cody. He's now back on halfway with Southampton with Kwashi. Charles. It's been complete domination for Southampton in terms of possession in this game. They've had 75% of it, and they've had 20 shots, 7 on target. But Wrexham have been resolute in their defending, and then, like I say, when they have had a chance to go forward, they have looked like scoring Wrexham. They've just not gone forward too many times. Charles in the final third makes his way in the box, surrounded by 2 Wrexham shirts, cleared by Cleworth, but not very far. Dobson with big tackle, with 2 big tackles, but it's kept by Wellington, who spins and crosses, and it drops after a deflection to Downs. That's Flynn Downs, who still has it on the left-hand side here for Southampton. Keeping it away from Windass. Laying off into Stevens, and out wide right it goes now to Fernandez. Crosses into the hands of Danny Ward. Not a good enough cross. It's like that final pass, that final ball. It's just letting Southampton down at the moment. As it's still 0-0 in the other 2 championship matches. As Danny Ward kicks the ball out of play. Because Connor Cody's down. Looks like he might be just suffering with a bit of cramp. I think quite a few of the Wrexham players are now starting to struggle with their fitness. Ryan Barnett also just hunched over. Cody's the one sat down. Yeah, Charlton-Watford still 0-0. Coventry-Hull 0-0. The Wrexham will make changes. Luton, though, have took the lead against Peterborough away from home. Goal from Mads Anderson. Still 0-0, though, between Reading and Huddersfield. And in League 2, it is Notts County 1, Salford 2. And it is Tranmere 2, Shrewsbury 0. And Shrewsbury have got a man sent off, and that's Will Boyle, formerly of Wrexham. And we're going to get plenty of changes here. Let's see who's coming off for both teams. So it will be the Brazilian Wellington to be replaced by Ryan Manning. So a like-for-like change in the wing-back spot on the Southampton left-hand side. Yet to score so far for Southampton in his career, Manning. Another change, the Flynn Downs come off for the number 19 of Cameron Archer. So it's wing back for wing back, and then a central midfielder off for a striker. So it's positive from Southampton. And Cameron Archer was in the goals in pre-season for Southampton. Scored 3 altogether. And then the Wrexham changes. Less than 20 minutes to go. Ryan Hardy is going to be coming on. And I'm assuming he will be replacing Josh Windass. They're just showing a camera angle of Ryan Hardy walking around, so not sure who's come off. Yeah, Josh Windass is the one who's come off, and the second change will be Ryan Barnett, who was struggling. So Ryan Barnett will be replaced by number 47, Ryan Longman. So like-for-like changes all around there for Wrexham. So Conor Cody is off on the sidelines here. And Southampton can play. Cody's still not allowed back on as it's Manning on the left-hand side. He's going to go for an early cross in towards Downs, where it's cleared out by Hardy. Their number 9 just got rid there. The man they've brought in for £700,000 from Plymouth in the summer. He scored 10 goals last season in the Championship. 3 braces against West Brom, Millwall and Norwich, and they all came in Plymouth victories, which didn't come around too often last season as they were relegated. Conor Cody back on. It's going to be a Ryan Manning in-swinging corner from the Southampton far side of 17 left to play. Referee just having a word here with Max Cleworth and Ronnie Edwards. As Wrexham are just about holding on so far to these 3 points. These very precious 3 points on the opening weekend. In it goes. Far post. Header from Jack Stevens. And it's into the hands of Danny Ward. Not a difficult save for the goalkeeper. Jack Stevens beat Conor Cody to the header. But again, not enough of a challenge for the goalkeeper. Long kick forward though, and it's Jack Stevens to win the header. Controlled off the chest of Kikuchi, who keeps it away from Robinson. It's now Matty James on halfway. Finds the centre half of Lewis Brunt. Forward in between the lines for Lewis O'Brien, who's allowed to turn. Then to his right it goes to Dobson. Now with Longman. The right wing back freshly off the bench, running at Manning and crosses far post. It's a great cross, just no one there to attack it. It does go all the way through towards Kikuchi. You can keep it in and almost get beyond Fraser, who defends well in the end. And it's now with Jay Robinson, who almost runs into traffic, but just about keeps it. And it's now Southampton to lose it to Ryan Hardy as he plays it back there to Ronnie Edwards. And then eventually the free kick is given as Mateus Fernandez bundles over Lewis O'Brien. And we're just over 15 to play. Wrexham are holding on just about for a 1-0, and the goal being a penalty. It's been a rather entertaining watch, I must admit. It's great to have proper club football back. The likes of League 1 and League 2 coming back last week, and then Championship now this weekend. As O'Brien from the left-hand side crosses it just onto the edge of the area, headed forward by Cody, but then headed away by Stevens up towards Downs, who's going to battle for it. Comes off him as Wrexham try and get it back in towards the box. Eventually headed backwards to Manning and then volleyed forward towards Downs. Longman heads away. Controlled on halfway by Cleworth. It's now Brunt. Up it goes and it's not towards the yellow shirt. Free and easy. Control there for Manning, who just gets it down the left-hand side. It'll be given chase to by Cameron Archer, but it'll be seen behind for a throw-in by Cleworth. Really good defending by Wrexham's player of the season for last campaign. Wrexham's last win here at St Mary's of 51 years ago. And they could be adding a second. Hardy through to O'Brien, who gets the header away from Edwards. He's one-on-one, but Stevens recovers with a brilliant tackle from behind. And it remains 1-0. That's really important and crucial defending from Stevens. It was Hardy to get it through to O'Brien, who got the headed touch in front of the Southampton defence. He was away one-on-one, but recovering from behind. Jack Stevens just about got his foot around the man to get the ball. And it remains 1-0. Let's have another look. Throw-in flicked on by Dobson, then played through by Hardy, and O'Brien beat Edwards to it, and he was 1-on-1. Stevens was at full throttle to get back. There's a bit of contact, but not enough for me. Not at all. Let's have a look. He was the wrong side. He had an arm on the shoulder. No. Just not enough in it to send him down, personally. Now Southampton put a cross in. It's headed away by Longman. Back out to Mateus Fernandes, who's going to again clip it in towards the 18-yard box. Another header away. And it's controlled by Longman, but the touch is a little bit poor. So Manning gets it across to the right side here to Fernandes. Out wide right to Fraser. Onto his left foot. He does cross it in. It's a dangerous one. There's a pull of a shirt. Referee says no. Kwashi's asking for it. James Bell doesn't give the spot kick. The young 21-year-old defender is asking that question to the referee. Let's have a look. Ball goes into the far post. He's pulling the shirt. He's pulling the shirt. It's a big ask. I think they've got every right to want that penalty, Southampton. Potentially two they could have had and have not had. Was the pull of the shirt enough for a foul? Honestly, not too sure. But they've certainly got the right to ask Southampton. But that's the thing with Championship. We haven't got VAR. Long ball controlled by Hardy for the moment, but then was ganged up on by three Southampton players, so couldn't get the ball out of his feet and playing it to a teammate. Over 11 minutes to go with the 90. Edwards switches it to the left here to Manning on the halfway line. Not long now for Wrexham to hold on. Stevens goes to his right here to Edwards. Looks like Southampton could be readying another change or two. Fernandes on the Southampton right flank, forward into Robinson. Takes it on the turn really well, but then the touch is heavy and he fouls Kikuchi. And it's a free kick for Wrexham. Looks like a really smart and good signing for Wrexham. Liberato Kikuchi, brought in from Empoli in Italy. And Southampton will make another change. It's another striker. So they're going to have three out-and-out strikers on the pitch because they're going to be taking off a centre-back. So Ronnie Edwards, who gave away the penalty in the first half, is replaced by Ross Stewart. So three out-and-out strikers on for the Saints. Damien Downs, Ross Stewart and Cameron Archer. All three strikers coming off the bench as well for the Saints. So the Wrexham free kick taken by Ward. It's a huge kick up the pitch. It's a header up in the air by Kwashi. And the second header won by Shea Charles. And it's now with Ryan Fraser at right wing back. Into the middle to Fernandes. Switched ball across to Manning. It's a bit slow, but it does about reach him. He can bring it beyond the halfway line on the near side. Lays it off for Charles. It's now back to Manning again. Sees a run. Finds him. Stewart. Squares it. Deflects and it can't quite drop for Downs and it's hoofed away by Wrexham. 10 minutes to go. Still 1-0 to the Red Dragons. Ryan Fraser midway inside the Wrexham half. Down the line to Robinson. Tackled though there by, I think that was Brunt. Fraser again with the throw in, wanting to take it quickly. Gets it to Fernandes, who can't quite return it to Fraser. Kicked out of play by O'Brien. Throwing for the Saints. And it's going to be a long throw in here by Kwashi, who's trying to get the Saints crowd up for this for the last 10 minutes. They are too used to this doom and gloom sort of results at St Mary's, especially after last season. And in the Championship, they've got a chance to change that. Losing today wouldn't help, but they can certainly get an equaliser from this long throw. And in it goes, flicked on by Wrexham shirt, played out of the box by Fraser to Manning, lifts it back in, header up in the air. The second header won by Wrexham, third header won by Fraser. Kwashi tries to get it back in there, but it's a bit wayward, and it goes to Longman, whose touch isn't great. Picked off him by Archer, and Southampton can still attack. Manning Playing it through. Great ball. Charles on the edge of the area. Out on the left-hand side. Slightly isolated. Twisting and turning. Against 2 Wrexham players. Ball still in. It is still in. It's messy. It's eventually cleared in the end for Wrexham. And it'll be given chase to here by Ryan Hardy. Kwashi gets there first. And plays it back to Bazunu. Who's not really had too much to do, Gavin Bazunu, in the Southampton goal in the game. Did guess the right way for the penalty, but again, too well struck by Josh Windass. Stevens goes across to his left here to Kwashi on halfway. Gets it under control. It's now on the near side to Manning. Plenty of time for him to cross it into the area. Header won, though, in the end by Brunt. It will be kept in, though, by Fraser. Goes to Fernandez. First time cross. Goes in, and it's goal bound. And it's saved by Danny Ward, who, again, has got about 5 seconds left to clear the ball. It's a good rule, this, because you can see the goalkeepers aren't staying down as long. They know they've got to get up and clear. And it's a big clearance. Up towards Smith. Heads it on, but can't find Hardy. It's now with Manning. Goes back here into Shea Charles. Fraser's from the right side. They're going to continue down the left, though. Manning. 3 bodies to aim for, and it goes towards Ross Stewart. Misses him, deflects off a Wrexham player. Bouncing around in the area. Header won by Brunt, and then a clearance by O'Brien. Throwing for Southampton, the Wrexham half. And there's another Wrexham player down. Liberato Kukirchi, also known as Libby as well. Does go by Libby as a shorter first name. Looks like he's struggling with camp here, the New Zealand international. He's back to his feet. Just kills a little bit of time for Wrexham. Kills some momentum as well, most importantly. And it will be another Wrexham change. The club captain will be coming on, signed a new contract last night. Or it was announced last night anyway. James McLean, number 7, signed a contract until the end of next season. And it will be Kukirchi to come off for McLean, who I'm guessing will take the captain's armband off. Matty James wants there's an opportunity to do so. Got to really fight for his spot now. McLean in the team. The former Irish international. Was born in Derry, Northern Ireland, but decided to represent the Republic of Ireland. It was a dream to play for them, he said, at the time. Ross Stewart on the right wing, trying to hold it up here, being pressured by Matty James. And then kicking it off McLean, corner, throwing right next to the corner flag, though, for Southampton. Ross Stewart trying to find his goal-scoring form in the Southampton shirt. Scored his first season on the last day of last season against Arsenal. Struggled with injury really badly, though, during his time here at the Saints. Joined back in September 23 for £8 million. He only played 18 times now. It's really unfortunate with the injuries. Just over 5 minutes left to play. It's going to be another long throw in by Kwashi. In it goes. Ward's coming for it, and he catches. Confident goalkeeping as Wrexham are close to a clean sheet here. I think that'll be what Phil Parkinson is most pleased about. Getting the lead and defending it really well. Long ball again. Sam Smith tries to hold it up but can't. Runs out of play. And it'll be a throw in for Southampton in their own half as they're trying to speed it up as quickly as they can. Long throw from Fraser. Nodded down by Stewart into Robinson. Then back through for Stewart on the right-hand side. Got to get the cross right. In it goes. Longman's clearance isn't brilliant. It was still in the box, but it could be cleared by Cody. It could be one of the signings of the summer. If he plays all season like he has today, all 3 of those centre-backs have been phenomenal for Wrexham. A Southampton cross again. Header goes towards goal, but it's nowhere near by Robinson. And now the clock is seriously ticking very loud at St Mary's. They know with every passing second, the points are slipping further away from them. Will still making the point to the referee that this restart's taking too long. Big kick from Ward. Every kick's been big from Ward. Sam Smith controlled it. Back pass from Charles. Hardy's in. 1-on-1. Oh, it goes wide. What a save from Bazunu. Almost gifting Wrexham the win. The long ball went forward. It was controlled by Smith, but just got away from him. So Shea Charles tried to poke it back towards Bazunu. But before he could go back to Bazunu, Kwashi tried to control it himself. Couldn't, which then led the ball through for Hardy, who was 1-on-1 with Bazunu. Had to take it on with his left foot. And that's a brilliant save from the 23-year-old. Just getting a left hand to it to send it past the post. Almost a debut goal for Ryan Hardy. Did score technically on his debut for Wrexham in pre-season against Melbourne Victory. But this would have been a different sort of goal. O'Brien in swinger. Kwashi wins the header back out though to O'Brien. Can he get the ball back in? Goes to his left here to Dobson. To O'Brien again. Still plenty of bodies in there for Wrexham. Back to Dobson. Left-footed ball. It's poor. It's dummied though and then kicked towards goal well over the bar. Goal kick for Southampton. There's still time for the Saints. But they almost lost any chance of getting any sort of kind of points with that poor back pass from Charles, which was, I think, accidentally controlled by Kwashi. I don't think the ball was meant for him. He then led Hardy for that chance, but thankfully for Southampton, their goalkeeper was there to save. 2 minutes to go. Jack Stevens at the back for Southampton. Mateus Fernandes forward for Stewart. Tackle, but drops back to Fernandes. Charles, tackled by Dobson. It's seen as a heavy one and a foul by the referee. Dobson, head in hands. Can't believe it. He thinks it's soft. But the referee, James Bell's, giving it to Southampton. Yeah, just went through the back of him. Didn't get any of the ball. Probably the right decision from the referee. He's probably not giving Southampton 2 penalties that they should have had. So they'll definitely accept the free kick here. The Saints, it's manning over it and he's facing this up to shoot. It's just towards the right hand side of the centre of the pitch, so it is more of an angle for a left footer. Danny Ward setting up his wall. Can we get some last minute drama down south on the Championship opening weekend? It's hit by Manning and into the back of the net. That is a beauty from the substitute. And Wrexham's dreams of an opening day victory have just been taken right in front of their eyes. What a strike. And what a way to score your first Southampton goal. Ryan Manning's last goal in his career was well over 2 years ago in a 1-0 win against Huddersfield in April 2023. And out of nowhere, he's pulled this out of the hat. Over the wall, which didn't jump. And too far away from Ward to get a hand to it. Perfectly placed. Will still wants to go again to get the winner. But they've got at least a point for now. And they're trying to get the winner. Robinson tried to get on the end of the Fraser ball. But Fraser's ball was stopped play because he's been caught as he played it. McLean, who's now got the captain's armband on, I think pushed someone as the free kick was given. Drama. 1-1 at St Mary's. What a free kick from Manning. McLean goes in the book. So Fraser tried to go into Robinson and he just ran into McLean. I think that's what the yellow card was given for. He did do the original foul. Again, not telling me how long's been added on. I'll try and find out. Wrexham had 3. Now we've only got 1 and they're trying to not go away with nothing. It's going to be Fernandes on the right-hand side to cross this in. 6 minutes of added on time. We've played 90 seconds of it. Southampton searching for a winner. Fernandez, in it goes, flicked onto the far post towards Stewart, who keeps it alive, kicks it off Smith, and it will be a corner. Just about kept in there by Stewart. And the Southampton fans are up for this now. They believe they can win this. Ryan Manning, who got the equaliser, his first goal for the club, his first goal in over 2 years. His 19th altogether in the Championship in his career. Manning, near post, volleyed away for Wrexham. Be given chase to and it'll be kept moving. It's now with Bazunu in the Southampton half. Goes to his right to Fernandez. Left-footed long ball forward down the middle of the pitch. Flicked on by Stewart towards Downs. Longman can control and clear though for Wrexham. Shea Charles to Manning. Then goes back here into Bazunu. And how the tide can change. It's now Wrexham with all hands on deck looking to keep hold of a point after having 3 for so long of the game. Probably deserved for Southampton, just in terms of the 2 penalties they weren't given, especially that handball earlier on in the second half from the Shea Charles shot. As Manning goes for an early ball in, not dealt with, headed up into the air. Ward comes for it and catches. He's been pretty confident with his goalkeeping this game, Ward, in terms of coming out for crosses and loose balls in the air. Couldn't really do too much with that free kick, in all honesty. Big kick again. Up towards Smith. It goes over the head of Stevens. Smith in the area, surrounded by red and white shirts. And he tries to cross, shoot. Not sure what he was trying there, Sam Smith, but he kicks it out of play. Goal kick for Southampton, which they've took as quickly as they can. Kwashi playing the ball forward to Charles. Spent last season on loan at Wednesday. Now he's certainly going to be a first-teamer in this Will Still squad. It's back with Charles, not being put under pressure, so can clip it into the far post towards Robinson. Comes off McLean, who can't avoid the corner. Set piece again for Southampton. We've had a penalty scored, a free kick scored. And we're going to get the whole trinity of set pieces scored. And will Southampton bag from this corner? The goal scorer Manning going over to put the in-swinging ball in. They've not won a league home match since the 2nd of November. And what a time to change your fortune around. Plenty of movement in the area. Manning the one to deliver. Deep to the far post. Header won by Stevens and deflects wide of the post. And it's out for a goal kick. Stevens won the header again on Cody and it came off the back of Ryan Fraser and just went wide. Got just over a minute and a half left of the game. Southampton 1, Wrexham 1. Luton are 2-0 up away at Peterborough. Huddersfield 1-0 up away at Reading with a goal in the 74th minute. Tranmere 4-0 up against Shrewsbury and Salford 1-2-1 against Notts County. Header won there by Jack Stevens towards Archer. Headed away though by Cleworth. Dobson goes back to Cleworth, just about reaches him, has to hurry a clearance away. And it's a Southampton throw with less than a minute of added on time to play. He throws it back to Bazunu. And this is probably last chance saloon for the Saints. Kwashi from centre-back. Bringing it forward. Charles. To Fraser. Facing towards his own goal. Gets it back inside to Charles. It needs to go forward. And it does from Charles. It's a long ball out to the left. It's perfect. Touch from Manning. Squares it. All the way through. Off the line and in. Southampton have won it with the last kick of the game. Captain Jack Stevens is the man to do it. Heartbreak for Wrexham. Scenes for Southampton, who steal all 3 points on the opening weekend of the season. It's a messy, it's a scrappy goal, but they will not care. The captain comes through when his team need him most. He's not known for his goal scoring, but he has popped up with an almighty important goal. Long switch ball from Charles. It was a great touch off the chest of Manning to get it into the space in the box. He then squared it across. Downs missed it as the ball was bouncing. It's not an easy one to control. Downs got a slight touch. The angle's tight. It comes off the underneath of the crossbar. Off Cody. And into the back of the net. Again, almost Connor Cody coming up with the heroic clearances off the line. But that time he couldn't keep it out. Wild celebrations at St Mary's. And based off this second half, it's probably just about deserved for Southampton, who have not given up at all, playing the will still way. And we're still playing here at 2-1. Not long left though at all. Danny Ward sends it long for Wrexham. Headed away by Ross Stewart. Being chased down by Longman, but Fernandez gets there ahead of him. Mateus Fernandez can see Downs bursting away. He tries to play through towards him. Header won though by McLean, but there'll be no chance for another Wrexham attack. And a huge roar from Will Still indicates how big of a win that is for his side on his opening game as the new head coach. And the Championship is well and truly back. What an ending to the game here at St Mary's. A 90th minute equaliser from Manning and a 96th minute winner from Stevens leaves Wrexham absolutely distraught. They went 1-0 up in the first half in the 22nd minute through a penalty converted by Josh Windass. And in the first half, Wrexham looked good when attacking and Southampton looked tidy in possession, but second half it was just all Southampton. Wrexham got forward every now and then, and they had one huge chance at 1-0 in the 87th minute. A one-on-one chance with Hardy, trying to get it beyond Bazunu, but the Irishman came up with a huge save, which now looks even more important after Southampton's two late goals. The first one was scored by Manning around 30 or so yards out from the free kick, left-footed to score his first goal for Southampton as he endures his third season at the club. And then the winner from the captain, Jack Stevens, who's been at the club since 2011. And on his 201st appearance, he scores his biggest Southampton goal. It was a crossfield ball by Shea Charles into the 18-yard area, brilliantly took under control by Ryan Manning with the chest to get in front of the wing-back of Longman. He squared it towards Downs, who got a slight touch to it, the striker, but it wasn't going on target. Thankfully for Southampton, that touch led it all the way through to Jack Stevens, where the angle was tight, but he was able to get the shot on goal. It went off the underneath of the crossbar and into the back of the net. It did come off Connor Cody into the back of the net, but I'm pretty sure it was well over the line before Connor Cody got a touch to the ball. And with a little bit of time left after the game, Wrexham weren't able to get another huge chance to get the equaliser, so they have to settle for nothing to start their Championship campaign. But for Southampton, that is a sign of a team wanting promotion. When you're down and you're out, or it seems like you're out, to turn a game around in that sort of fashion is not easy, but they've done it there against Wrexham, who defended so well throughout the entire of the game. I thought Connor Cody, partnering alongside Max Cleworth and Lewis Brunt, were absolutely superb in that back three, but maybe tiredness, lack of concentrations just let the whole team down at the end, where they've ended up somehow losing this game against Southampton. You know, there won't be much harder games in this, to be fair. Southampton will certainly be up there at the end of the season. Wrexham have done themselves proud, but it doesn't mean that result won't hurt. That's a tough one to take for the Red Dragons, but they're going to have to take it, accept it, move on, and keep building, because that will certainly be a really good building block for them in terms of a performance. They know they can, you know, hurt teams. Don't get me wrong, they scored from a penalty, but their attacking sense when they were breaking did look quite dangerous. They just didn't quite take chances, or players were just about able to get back for Southampton. But I think defensively can be their real main positive. I know they conceded 2 late goals, and they were quite silly goals to concede in terms of giving away the free kick and not dealing with the last ball forward. But for the rest of that 90 minutes, they were absolutely superb. Danny Ward looked good in goal. Connor Cody, I think that's going to be a great signing. But it was the quality overall of Southampton that just about shone through right at the end. And that's the kind of result you want under a new manager. Don't get me wrong, they'd probably rather win 5-0. But I think sometimes a performance like that where, their backs were against the wall and it did look like it wasn't going to happen for them, and then to turn it around so dramatically, it's just one of those coming together moments. And Will Still's having one of those moments now with the supporters and really celebrating these big 3 points. Because come the end of the season when they're looking for automatic promotion, if they get in there by a couple of points, this should be a game they look back on and go, look, we had none and we somehow gained 3. And so I think it's a bit of a time to breathe. That was a really enjoyable game of Championship football. First half was definitely more even, I'd say, in different ways. Wrexham had a lot more chances going forward, a bit more on the break. Southampton had their own chances, but a bit through more possession. Don't get me wrong, second half was completely different. It was a lot more Southampton. Wrexham had a lack of chances. Their one big one, though, was at 1-0, and Hardy will be kicking himself that he didn't dispatch that, because that would have made it 2-0, and I think that would have been game over for sure. But what a turnaround. What a dramatic way to start this Championship season. It's been superb. The 2 main games that have been highlighted have ended in the most dramatic of ways. Last night we had Birmingham concede a late penalty through a very controversial handball, and that ended up kicking off a little bit. Wasn't as much kick-off for Wrexham this time. I don't think they're too disappointed in the sense of it's the first game, it's Southampton. There'll be positives. They didn't look too overly frustrated. There was quite light-hearted, a bit of banter at the end of the game between some of the Southampton and Wrexham players. But I think this season, I think Wrexham will be absolutely fine. Maybe bring in a few more players. Maybe, I was going to say another midfielder, but they have got George Thomason from Bolton who they just need to get involved. But I'd say maybe another wing back. I'm not sure. Maybe just a player here or there I think they need. But I think they'll be absolutely fine. Absolutely fantastic. Welcome to real football. Wrexham, best team won. Wrexham will be looking to finish above the bottom 4. I think they'll be fine, to be honest. I really do. If they do end up struggling down there, then it's obviously the step up's just a bit too much for them. But from what I saw there, they really did frustrate Southampton for those 90 minutes and then just conceded 2 really late goals, which will definitely frustrate Phil Parkinson. But again, we'll have to wait and see. I keep saying this during the commentary. I'm trying to think of how I think Wrexham will do, and I just don't know. Because the signings they've brought in have been good Championship signings, especially like Josh Windass, who scored. I think Connor Cody was brilliant, but it's just those other players who've come up through League 2, League 1, can they make the step up? Again, I think it's just a matter of just waiting and see. Just give it time. They could struggle, they might not. Who knows? That's the fantastic thing about football. But that will be the end of the live commentary. I think I need to go and have a bit of a lie down after that. That was some ending at St Mary's. But here, for the game between Southampton and Wrexham. Wrexham took a first half lead through the penalty spot. Josh Windass converting from 12 yards. And throughout the first half, it was pretty even in terms of chances. But it was Wrexham who went into the break leading. But in the second half, Southampton just made it all about them. Chances left, right and centre, but just couldn't quite get the ball in the back of the net. There was a huge chance for Wrexham with a couple of minutes of the 90 to go through Ryan Hardy, but Bazunu showed his worth and made a vital save, because a couple of minutes later, from a 30-yard free kick, Ryan Manning scored his first Southampton goal and got the comeback started. And then within the last minute of added on time, a long ball forward to Manning. He controlled it into space. He pulled the ball across. It ended up going all the way through to the far post to an unmarked Jack Stevens, and the captain dispatched it off the top of the crossbar and into the back of the net to send St Mary's crazy, to send Wrexham home disappointed. But unfortunately for Wrexham, they have been on the end of a Hollywood ending, which has gone in the favour of Southampton, as here at St Mary's. At full time, it finishes Southampton 2, Wrexham 1.